Good evening, my friends. I just want to stop in this evening and share a Bible story with you that's a message that has been very profound for me. And God gave me a new message from this story that I've never heard in this way before. And this came as a result of some experiences that I just had that were somewhat life-changing for me. And I want to share it with you in hopes that it may bless you as much as it has blessed me. And this story comes from the 29th chapter of the book of Genesis. And this is the story of Jacob. And Jacob goes into the land where Laban is, and he's in Laban's household, and he realizes that Laban has two daughters. He has the oldest daughter named Leah, and he has a younger daughter named Rachel. And you may know the story. You can go back and read it. I'm going to be brief with it, but I'm going to put emphasis on the message that I want to share with you from it. So Jacob winds up being in Laban's house for about a month, and Laban says to him, I don't want you to be here working with me and not get something, so you tell me what you want. And he looks at the two daughters and he falls in love with Rachel because she is outwardly beautiful. It says she has a nice figure. She is just very pleasant to look at, so he loves her because of her outward beauty. The older daughter, Leah, the Bible said she had weak eyes. She wasn't as much to look at. She wasn't that ray of sunshine, that outgoing, bubbly personality. So he wants Rachel. So Laban makes a deal with him. You have to work for 7 years and you can have her as your wife. So he works the 7 years, 7 long years. And on the day that he gets ready to receive his wife, the father goes in and covers up the older daughter so that Jacob feels deceived. He thinks he's getting Rachel, but instead he gets Leah, and the father explained to him that it's customary that we would have to give the oldest daughter first. So he said, you can still have Rachel, but you'll have to work 7 more years. So he did. And the reason why he did this is because he had seen the beauty of Rachel. Rachel was so beautiful to him and he loved her so much, he was willing to work another 7 years to get what it is that he wanted, even though he felt deceived. Now, what is this story about? This story is really about our life's journey and our growth. And I want to paint a picture for you that may help you to really get in tune with this story and get the message that I got from it. Have there ever been times in your life where you get a glimpse of who you really like to be? You know, the beautiful person, the outgoing person, the person that is loved and revered and respected that you would like to be. You get a glimpse of this person and you're willing to work hard to become that person. So you may work on a career. You may work on starting a business. You may work on things that make you more confident, give you more charisma. You may work on a number of things so that you can attempt to become this beautiful person that you'd like to be. And maybe there's been times that you worked hard to become one version of yourself that you wanted to become. And at the end of that, the Bible says that he worked 7 years. And 7 is very unique in the Bible. 7 usually refers to completion or perfection. So when you reach this time of completing whatever it is that you feel like is going to bring out this beautiful version of you, sometimes that's not what you get. Sometimes you work hard for that only to find that you find another area of your life that needs to be healed, another area of your life that needs some work. Sometimes we fall a little bit short of getting what we really wanted, that beautiful part of us that we really wanted to shine, that perfected side of us. But we're willing to go back and work hard again because we realize how it would feel, what it would mean to us to get to this place of accomplishment, this place of beauty, this place where we're ready to show ourselves to the world, where we're really happy with ourselves and proud of ourselves. And, you know, sometimes in this, I had an experience that I want to get into and bring into this story. I had a story, really. I've worked on myself a lot over the years. I've had a lot of challenges that caused me to have to work on myself. And I just came in contact with my inner child. And when I say my inner child, you know, all of us grew up somewhere. We went through the things that we went through. And whether we realize it or not, all the different experiences that we had, they have some type of effect on us, whether it's a negative or a positive effect. They have some type of effect on us. And sometimes we don't know that. And when I talk about the inner child, you know, sometimes there are experiences that we have as children, and maybe we can't reconcile that. Maybe we can't come to the understanding of why this is what it is in a way that we can reconcile it and move on. So life dictates that we move on, but it leaves a void in our lives. And when we get to the point where we're ever really to grow, then sometimes that inner child cries out. And I had that experience. That inner child cries out because now we're in a situation that assimilates that same situation that created the trauma or that created the stopping place for the growth of that child, that inner child within us. And sometimes it may be that that child was not loved as much as they needed to be or supported. Maybe they were not heard. Maybe they were not seen. Maybe they were abused verbally or physically, whatever it is. It could be minor things, but either way, it has this effect and it may stop the growth of that individual. So sometimes even after we have worked hard to become who we desire to become, and we've polished off a lot of areas of our lives, a lot of areas of our lives are beautiful, we come to the realization that there is more work to do. I didn't get to the perfected side of me. There's something else that needs perfecting. And we have to do that. And I want to go back to the story, over the course of time. So Jacob has both wives, and he always loved Rachel more than he did Leah because she was physically beautiful. She was appealing to him. She appealed to his eyes, to the human nature in him. She was just what he always wanted, so he loved her. So he doted on her and he didn't love Rachel. But the Bible said that because he didn't love Rachel, he had both of them as wives, then God allowed Leah to bear him children while Rachel remained barren. And this is a very important thing because sometimes the areas in our lives that bring us the greatest joy and the areas that we would, be most proud of, sometimes these areas we love more than the trials that we've had, the troubles that we've had, the more comely experiences that we had in life. But sometimes it is the Leah type situations in our lives. Leah was the one that brought him the most stability. Leah was the one that shored him up the most. Leah was the one that bare him children, which means that the experiences that he had with Leah were more fruitful than the experience that he had with Rachel. So in order for him to enjoy the beauty of Rachel, Leah was necessary. And one of the things that Jacob came to the point of realizing, the Bible says that the wives had died now, that Leah had died, and he comes to the conclusion and he says this: when I die, I want to be buried beside my wife Leah. And what this represents is how much he honored her. At the end of it all, when he got a chance to look back and reflect, he honored his relationships with Leah, even though he didn't love her because she didn't bring him the outward beauty. So it is with us. Sometimes over the course of our lives, we're very proud of some things that we have become. We're proud of the things that we have healed from. We're proud of the areas that we have perfected in our lives, the areas that we're ready to show the world. But we could not enjoy the beauty of those areas if it were not for the Leah experiences, if it were not for the ugly times. So while we're enjoying the times that brought us the most joy, we have to appreciate the times that brought us pain. So it is with people. There's some people that come into our lives and they bring us the greatest joy. We laugh with them. We enjoy life with them. We have fun with them, and we really love them. While there's some other people that come into our lives and they bring us a lot of grief. They bring us pain. And sometimes we don't love them as much. Sometimes we resent them. Sometimes we wish that we had never even met them. But in order for us to reach the beauty, these people sometimes that bring us the greatest pain, they are our greatest teachers. We have to ask ourselves, what is it about me? What unhealed area of my life that brought this person into my life to start with? This person triggers me. But the fact that this person triggered me, this allowed me to come to a new discovery. And so sometimes even when we talk about these 7 years of completion where we've worked at something, sometimes completion is not the greatest thing always, but it always closes out one thing so that it can give new beginning to some other thing. And sometimes, back to the people thing, sometimes there are people that come into our lives that bring us the greatest pain. Well, again, those are the people that bring us to the greatest discovery. Sometimes the toughest situations in our lives bring us the most stability in our lives. It is one thing, we do work hard to achieve the levels of growth, to achieve the accomplishments, to achieve the beauty. But it is more important that we're able to maintain these levels of healing, these levels of development, these levels of growth. Because, if we're not shored up enough, if we haven't set the proper boundaries, if we have not grown enough, then it's possible that we can shrink back. We can lose all of what we worked hard to gain. And so it is sometimes with this completion thing. Sometimes we have everything that we want. Sometimes we have the relationships that we really cherish, that we really value. But sometimes it is only when we stand to lose them or when we have lost them that it brings us to the greatest eye-opening moments. It brings us to those moments where we realize there is change that I really need. I really need this healing so that I can maintain the types of relationships